So today, make sure that you've numbered the notes for today, number 4. Today's notes are going to be number 4. All right. Today we're going to talk about how to graph an inequality. Now, when we're graphing these, we are going to be doing these on a number line. We are going to do these on a number line. Now, we've graphed some stuff on number lines before. We've graphed stuff on number lines before. We've graphed whole numbers, we've graphed fractions, we've graphed decimals on number lines, and we are doing our integer and rational numbers section. All right, so let's just kind of go over that again. On a number line, if I wanted you to graph the number 4 on a number line. All right, first of all, we would need a number line, right? Number line. And somewhere on that number line would be 4. We're just going to let 4 be in the middle. Because does my number line have to start at like 1 or 0? No, it can start wherever we want. So I know 4 is important, so I'm just going to put that in the middle. 4, 5, 6. And then on the other side we have 3, 2. As long as your number line is filled in, you're good. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does that all work? And we'll talk about more on how to put those numbers on there in just a moment. All right, if I told you to graph 4 on that number line, what would you do at 4? What would you do there?
Put a dot on the line.
We would put a dot on the line. I'm going to borrow your pencil real quick, Ava, if you don't mind. So if I wanted to graph 4, I'd put a dot on the line. I love how Cameron clearly said on the line. Ta-da, I've graphed 4. You don't have to draw this right now. This is just for us to talk about real quick. Do we agree that's how we would graph 4? All right. Now, the problem is today, we're not going to be just graphing 4. We're going to be graphing an inequality. So instead of saying 4, it might say x is less than 4. It might say x is less than 4. Now, guys, here's our dilemma. If x is less than 4, can x actually be on the 4?
No.
No. Is 4 less than 4? No. But our dilemma is 4 is important. It was the number in the problem, so 4 is important, but I can't put a solid dot here because can x actually be that number? No. So what we're going to talk about today is how sometimes you'll see an open dot. Instead of just a point, a dot, you'll see an open dot. What this dot means is that 4 is important, but x can't be 4, can it? X can't be 4. So it's going to be open because it means it's important, but it's not actually there. It's kind of like my starting point. What can x be? What can x be? Okay?
3 or 2.
It can be 3 or 2, or 1 or 0 or negative anything, negative 99. So what we're going to do to show that is we're actually going to come in and darken the number line all the way down here. So we're going to darken it, and that's going to have to keep going. So I'm going to put an arrow there. So I darken it and put an arrow to show it's going to go forever. So now do you see how it starts at 4, but it's actually all of the numbers to the left of 4. Because remember, less means left. All right, so let's kind of fill in these notes. So this is what we're going to be doing today. So you can see we need an open circle if the number can't be there. So I need an open circle for like less than, because if it's less than something, can it actually be on that number? If it's less than something, no. If it's greater than something, can it be on that number? No. So for less than or greater than, we would need an open circle. Can someone think of when I would need a closed circle? When do you think I might need a closed circle? When would I need to fill that in? Okay, Faith?
Maybe when there's an equal sign.
When it's equal to, because remember when we said x equals 7, or when we just were graphing the number 4, we filled that dot in, right? So right up here, if I said x is less than or equal to 4, now can x be 4? Yeah, so now I wouldn't want an open dot. I want to fill it in, because can x be at that dot? Absolutely. So I need a closed circle if it's less than or equal to, or if it's greater than or equal to. So the first thing we're going to do is decide what type of dot do I want. Do I want a closed dot or do I want an open dot? We want the closed circle when it has the equal bar. All right? If it doesn't have the equal bar, I want to keep it open. Would y'all agree that's a pretty easy way to remember? If it has the line, fill it in. If it has the line, fill it in. All right. If you'll notice up here, when I finished my dot, we said, hey, it's all of these numbers less than that. So we had to kind of shade that in and darken it. What direction did I go? Left. Is that still going to be left even though I put that bar there for x is less than or equal to 4? Yeah, because it's still the number is less than. So I'm going to shade to the left if it's less. We're going to shade to the left for less. And just a reminder, less than symbol is that or that. All right? And guys, you can use these arrows as long as the variable is first. Because what do you notice? What direction does that arrow point? You'll see how that kind of forms an arrow? What direction is that going? Left. And this one forms an arrow going to the left. All right? So we're going to shade right for great. Great. So for greater than, which is, again, the symbols where we're opening up to start with, or with the bar. Okay. So my greater than. And again, what direction are these arrows pointing? Right. To the right. Guys, those arrows tell us a lot. If it has a bar, it tells me to close it up. If it doesn't have a bar, it tells me to leave that circle open. If it's pointing to the right, we want to shade to the right. If it's pointing to the left, we want to shade to the left. All right? Well, let's look at example 1. We're going to graph each inequality. So I'm going to graph this problem, which means I'm going to need a number line. It's going a little crooked, but that's okay. All right, on your homework, I'll have the number lines drawn for you. But let's practice drawing them because it's always good to practice. So this says C is greater than 16. It says C is greater than 16. So 16 is the important number, right? Do I want a number 1 to 16? No. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually just going to put a bunch of marks on here. Guys, you need at least 5. You can have more than 5. In fact, I have 7. All right? You can have more than 5. You can have less. You cannot have less than 5. Okay? So that being you can have greater than or equal to 5. See what I did there? Okay. It entertained me. Fortunately not y'all. Tough crowd over here. All right. What number is it that we said we're focusing on this problem for A? 16. See, we're talking about comparing it to 16. So I need 16 to be somewhere near the middle. Because if it's near the middle, can I shade to the right? Yes. If it's near the middle, can I shade to the left? Yes. We don't want it to be on one of the ends because then we might not have room to shade. So I'm going to put 16 near the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, just near it. Near the middle. Okay, and we're going to fill the rest of the numbers in. So after 16, we have 17, 18, 19. Before 16, 15, 14, 13. All right. What type of dot do I need? Going straight into it. What type of dot? Lyric, what do you think? So it says C is greater than 16. Can C be 16 if it's greater than 16? No. So what type of circle would let 16 be important but not actually be there? An open circle. It's kind of like a ghost circle because it's not filled in. I don't know. Made sense in my head. Sounds goofy when I say it out loud. All right. So we're going to have an open circle, and I didn't mean to draw that little line in there. So an open circle. Okay. It's a little dark, but that's okay. Now, is 16 the only number that matters for C? No. What else matters for C? 17, 18, 19, 20, Any number is bigger than 16. So how am I going to show all of the numbers bigger than 16? How am I going to show that, Sarah Grace? You're on the right track. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the wording we're looking for? You're saying the right thing. You're pointing the right direction. What's the wording?
Shade the number line.
Yeah, we're going to shade the number line, all right? So we want to go over in this direction, but what we're doing is we're darkening in that number line to show that it's important. All right, so I'm darkening it in, shading it in. Now, is it just going to stop at that 19? No, so I'm going to need to make sure that I put an arrow here to show that it's going to keep going. Okay? All right, questions about A? Kind of a fat arrow, but that's okay. All right, so let's look at B. So again, we got to draw a number line. What number is going to be important on this number line? A -3. Okay? A -3. Okay, so I'm going to put -3. And you'll see, is my -3 exactly in the center? No? Is that okay? No. All right, what's going to come, though? Be careful. What's going to come after a -3? Blake? A -2. Very good. Remember, negatives count down. Then we have -1. Then I have 0. Remember, 0 separates those positive and negative. So we got to have 0 before we can do +1. All right, I see a lot of people go -1, 1. Got to have the 0 in between. All right, what's going to be before the -3? Adriana? And then? Very good. Okay. All right, what type of dot do I need? What type of dot am I going to use here? If D is greater than or equal to -3, what type of dot are we going to use, Cole?
A shaded circle.
A filled-in circle, a closed circle, because can D be -3?
Yes.
Yes, it has the equal to bar, so it can be -3, so I'm going to fill it in. It's filled in. That 3 is not just important, but it's really, really there. Okay? Which direction am I going to be going from that point? Which direction do I need to make sure we're going? Blake?
Right.
To the right. And guys, again, look, do y'all see how my arrow right here, what direction is it pointing?
Right.
This is pointing to the left. So what direction should I go? To the left. Do y'all see how I can just use that arrow? And I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. My husband makes fun of me all the time. I'm not good at directions. Like when I'm in charge of navigating, I just point because my lefts and my rights. Like under pressure, I'm like, ah, left, right, I don't know. Okay, so I just point. If you still struggle with those left and rights, there's our arrow right there. There's our arrow telling us which direction to go. Look, there's an A. See how it's pointing to that right for us? And then on B, it's pointing to the left for us. All right, so that's really helpful, isn't it? Kind of a neat little trick. Okay, let's make sure we're shading in. All right. Now, here's an issue on C and D. On C and D, what do you notice is going on with those two? On C and D, and we kind of talked about it on our homework. What's wrong with those, Caleb?
Numbers are in front of the
Variable. The numbers are in front of the variable. The numbers are in front of the variable. Do we want our numbers in front? No, we need our variable to come first. So what you're going to do is we are just going to rewrite it. We're going to rewrite it. All right? So when I rewrite it, any ideas on how I want to write that out? Sorry. Any ideas on how I want to write that out? Faith?
M is greater than 15.
M is greater than 15. Do y'all notice how she didn't just move the letter? She also flipped that symbol around. Do y'all see how she flipped my symbol around? This is important because originally my arrow was pointing to the left. But now when I graph it, which direction is it actually going to be going?
Right.
to the right. Guys, you can only use that arrow if the variable is first. Okay? We can only use that arrow if the variable's first. All right, let's draw out a number line. Again, you got to have at least 5 marks. Can you have more? Can you have less? No. All right, what number is important here? What number is going to go near the center? What number is going to go near the center here, Ella? 15, because that's what we're talking about. So 15. All right, after 15, 16, then 17, 18, before 15, 14, and 13. All right, if you have more numbers on your number line, that's okay. As long as you have 5 or more, we are good. What type of circle am I going to need here? Gabriella, what type of circle? An open circle. Remember, does this have the bar?
No.
So we do not fill it in. So we're going to put an open circle. All right. And Brandon, I know you just came in. This says that M is greater than 15, right? Can M actually be 15? No. So we're doing open circle. It's kind of like a ghost circle. That circle is important. 15 is important. But M can't actually be there. It's just going to start there. Because if M is greater than 15, can M be right here? Yeah, that's bigger than 15. Can M be here? 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 All the way down that line. Okay? So that's why we're using an open circle, because an open circle signifies, hey, this is an important number, but my variable can't actually be that number. Okay? What direction? So we just said that M can be all of these numbers down here. So how am I going to show that M can be all these numbers? Blake? I'm just going to shade that number line, and I'm going to fill it in to show that, hey, these numbers are important. Now, is it just going to stop at 18? No. So we're going to draw an arrow. Arrow at the end. Okay, so it keeps going. All right, our last one. What's one of the first things we want to do here? What's the first thing we want to do on D? Emily? Move the variable over. So I want the y to come first. When I move the variable, what do I have to do to my inequality?
Switch it.
Switch it around. So it's pointing towards the y. It's going to stay pointing towards the y. Okay, and then we're still talking about negative 21. Right? The reason we flip it around is so now I can use this arrow to help me decide which direction to go. So again, if we look up here, my arrow was pointing to the right, so we went to the right. Here my arrow is going to point to the left, so we're going to go to the left. So let's draw our number line first before we get everything going. Negative 21 needs to be somewhere near the middle. Does it have to be exactly in the middle? No. All right, these are negatives, so let's be careful. What comes after negative 21? What comes after negative 21, Blake? Negative 20, then? Then? Negative 18. All right, and so in front of that we have negative 22 and negative 23. Okay, so make sure you got those written down. What type of dot am I going to need on this problem, Ava? Open dot or closed dot? Right, this has the equal to line. If it has the bar, we need to fill it in. We got to fill it in. So we're going to put a closed dot right there. Okay. And which direction were we going here, Caleb?
To the left.
To the left. My arrow is pointing left, so we're going to go to the left. Arrow's going to the left, so we're going to go to the left. All right. If you'll flip it over, guys, your homework is on the other side. It's the exact same thing, just the number lines are drawn for you. Guys, down here, you do have to do this problem. It's telling you to write and graph an inequality. Do y'all see this sentence right here? The total donations at a fireman's ball failed to reach 940. Y'all see that sentence? That's what we were doing yesterday. Circle the topic for your variable. Decide less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then your number. So write your inequality like we did yesterday, and then you're going to graph it like we learned to today. Okay? So that's what's going on that bottom part. All right, let's go ahead and let's get our homework done. We got a lot of time in here to get